Hello guys, welcome back to All Ride. It's Skills Week again, so that means that we're back at the Constantia Uitsig Bike Park, back with the man himself, Chris Nixon. And while we've touched on the likes of bike balance, cornering, drop-offs and bunny hops, Chris, what's on the cards for today?
Well, today's switchback, which I get a lot of questions asked about it, and we're going to do both, up and down today.
Rock and roll. Well, let's go into the park and check it out.
Okay, so with switchbacks, it's important to remember everything else we've done before we got to this stage. If you haven't looked at the previous videos, go and have a look at them before you maybe tackle the switchbacks. And if nothing else, have a look at our very first episode, which was done on balance. Because without balance, you're going to really battle with switchbacks, whether you're going up or down. So go and have a look at the first episode, and you'll definitely be better off when you're practicing this one. So we're going to start off with switchbacks going up, climbing, and a lot of people when they tackle a switchback is they tend to cut the corner a bit. And the problem with cutting corners is you've got to think where your back wheel is. So let's have a look here. If we go inside and we tackle the corner, what happens is our back wheel is now on the steepest part of the climb, which makes it really difficult to get over. And because your back wheel wants to hook on that, your front wheel wants to kind of start sliding as well. So this is not really the best way to tackle a switchback. So the correct way to tackle a switchback is it's always better to go wider. You've got to think about where your back wheel is more than the front wheel when you're attacking a switchback. So when you start off, go as wide as possible, stick to the edge of the switchback and go wide and wide, keep your circle wide, and then at the last minute you can turn it a little bit tighter and then flow along the single cut along the top. And that's doing the best way to tackle a switchback. Okay, so we've done the up part of doing switchbacks. We're going to look at going down a switchback, and the principles are pretty much the same. So again, when you approach it, look at the angle which you're going to approach it. It's always better to come in wide when you come into a switchback. If you're going to come in on the inside, it's the biggest problem cutting the inside, because as you cut the inside, if you have a look at it, if we cut on the inside of the trail here, we cut the inside, we go over the steepest part of the switchback in the middle here, but as we're going off here, as you see my brakes are sort of skidding, your bike's facing to go over the cliff. And that's the most fearful part of doing a switchback, is you can see this big fearful thing and you want to jump off your bicycle. So it's ultimately not the way to do a switchback. Same as going up, is you want to approach it from as wide an angle as possible. So when you're coming into the switchback, plan from far away where you want to be when you get to the switchback. So even if there's a wall over here, you want to be as closest to the wall on the switchback when you're doing a switchback. And again, come as wide, keep it as wide as possible for as long as possible. And when you turn as late as possible. You want to do most of your turning at the top of a switchback. If you turn much over here, when you get to this point where it starts going down, you're able to flow through it, let go of the brake and run through the switchback. The other thing you need to remember about the switchbacks is your brake control. The more you go on and off with your brakes, the more the bike gets this yo-yo effect, where the bike wants to go and stop and go and stop, where it's better just to keep your finger on the brakes. It adds confidence to your braking and you flow through it much better. Here we're going to look at another way of doing a switchback. So if your confidence is not very high, if you're riding on trails that you've never ridden on before, and there's a switchback you've never seen before, and you don't just want to do it because you don't know what's around the corner, this is another way to do switchbacks. And the main thing here is why we are afraid of switchbacks is because we're so high on the saddle. So those people that don't have dropper seat posts, and you're seated so high off your bike, let me just show you what I mean by that. When you're on your saddle like this, your feet So look, your feet can't touch the ground, so you have this fear that you can't get out the way, you can't get out of a problem that might arise. And because of that, what we need to do is get your bum off the seat. And the way to do that is maybe just sit on your crossbar when you come to a switchback. Sit on it. You've then got your inside leg free, obviously, then your outside leg is down again. And because of that, you can actually just sort of tiptoe through it. Constantly have your foot on the ground. You're still in control of your brakes. You can see I can use my both brakes over here. Again, go as wide as possible when you enter a switchback. And then you can just tiptoe through it like that. And then just roll straight through the switchback, just like that. Creates a lot of confidence. And even if you're practicing switchback, this way will give you a lot of confidence going forward.
So we all have to start somewhere, and generally Chris has got amazing patience when it comes to the skills coaching side of things, but every now and then I joke with him, I'm like, Chris, you're really going a bit slow for your own riding ability, hey? So I think he's going to dish up the pro level switchback here. Cranking in. That's already done.
Okay, so just to recap regarding switchbacks, I want to go back to our very first episode and just reiterate that balance is the key for switchbacks. Because your speed is a lot slower than what you do most other mountain biking, get your balance right from those exercises in episode 1 and then start tackling the switchbacks. Without a good balance, it's going to be extremely difficult to do switchbacks. So that's it really in a nutshell for doing switchbacks.
So that's it, that's all for episode 5 of our Up Your Game Skills series segments. Remember that the rest of them are all on our YouTube channel in the Up Your Game Skills playlist, so go and check them out, and remember that each episode is an evolution of the past, so you do need to watch all of them, and also it's all about progression. So build up your skills, build up your confidence, and just have fun while doing it. Chris, cool. Thanks for having us out there today. Always a pleasure to be here in this beautiful summer sunny destination, and remember guys, bikes is all about fun, so just keep the wheels on the ground, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers.
That's a wrap for today's episode of All Ride. If you enjoyed the show, give us a like and a share, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for future episodes coming at you from around South Africa.